What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Brand podcast. Today, we are going to be covering 5 advanced Etsy sales strategies for 2025 and beyond. Here's the deal. I've been using these strategies inside of Etsy, but I've also been using them in e-commerce over the last 15 years. So they work, and they work in various niches. They just work. So we're going to break these down. Now, if you are brand new, yes, these are advanced. Yes, you don't have to do them all. You can pick one, but I do think we do need to learn about these advanced strategies. So this way here, you can plug them in and start using them when we are moving into Q4, but also into 2025, because it's coming. I mean, right now we're in September, the time of this, we're a few months out. Okay. And then we're going to be moving into 2025. So with that being said, we are going to kick this thing off. But first, let's bring old Chris Schaefer into the old stream here. And let's see what Chris is up to.
How
Chris,
you
there,
doing? Man? Yeah, long time no see. It's been like 30 hours. It's been quite a while.
Yeah. So Chris is just got off of a flight yesterday. So he's a trooper. We spent about 3-4 days together in person. If you guys are in the SEO workshop, him and I did a full 1-hour Q&A session, which is now uploaded into the learning portal. So if that's you, keep an eye out for that, because it was good. We went through about an hour's worth of questions, and they were good ones. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and let's just kick this thing right off. We got a lot to cover. We got these 5 advanced strategies that we're going to cover, but we're also going to be covering a few other things here today. As you may or may not know, Etsy Up was just, it was announced, but then it was, they just went through and did the whole Etsy Up thing. If you guys don't know what that is, it's kind of like their annual conference, if you will, or all of the things that they're bringing to the table, and they start to discuss them and address those. We're going to actually we're going to zoom in on a couple of those, and we're going to do that in a little while. The other thing is I want to share with you guys, and I've been playing around with how I want to title this, but I was thinking about it because I generated 9 orders, or I created 9 orders through something very, very simple. And it took me less than 10 minutes to do. And some of you might know what that is. We might even be talking about that in these advanced strategies. But I'm going to break that down, and I'm going to share all of the details. $479, 9 orders, and it took me less than 10 minutes. And I'm going to share that with you guys as well. So with that all being said, Chris, let's get this baby rocking and rolling. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to kick this thing off with advanced strategy number 1. And that is the aggressive launch to rank fast strategy. And this is generally going to be about 21 days long. Okay. Now you can do this over 7 days. You can do it over 14 days. You can do it over a month if you want to. But what we are doing here, okay, is we are looking at a launch. If you have a product launch, meaning you are launching a product for the very first time, you can even do this on a relaunch, by the way. But I'm going to walk you through what this looks like. Now, the very first thing is we need to make sure that that product has demand. If it doesn't have demand, well, we can still go through the launch and probably get some sales. But the reason why we're doing the aggressive launch is to get it ranked fast. If we get something ranked, well, that's great and all, but we need to know that there's people there actually searching for it. Last week on our live stream, we talked a lot about making sure that your product's in demand. So if you missed that one, make sure you watch that one. I'll also link that up in the description. All right. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to walk you through it. Like as if we were launching a product, we've already done our research. We know that it's in demand. We're trying to get it ranked. And if we're doing this before Q4, which we're in it kind of right now, it'll still work. If you're doing this in 2025, it'll still work, but you're probably going to be doing this at a certain time of the year that it's going to be searched for. Okay. And that could be all year. It could be certain holidays, but this is something that we would do to get something ranked very, very quickly. Okay. So the very first thing is we need to find our break-even price point. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to see how much do we have to work with. All right. the other thing is I want to call a little timeout here. We have to put our profits off for a second. So what we do is we are saying to ourselves, you know what? This is part of our marketing budget. I don't care if I make any money on these initial sales, because these sales are going to allow me to get noticed in the algorithm, and it's going to help me get ranked quickly. Okay. Because the algorithm is looking at sales. It's looking at conversions. It's looking at, yes, your keywords, but your keywords are just identifying what the product is. It's really looking at sales and it's looking at conversions. All right. So we want to increase that. So the way that we do that is we price it so it's really, really attractive. Okay. And that's why I call it the aggressive launch to rank strategy. Okay. So we are finding that break even point. We might bring it up $1, just something there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run that for 7 days. Okay. Now, during this time, we're going to throw as much traffic at this thing as possible. All right. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start running Etsy ads. Now, when we're running Etsy ads, we are going to turn our budget on. Our campaign, we're going to turn that on, generally $5. Okay. Now, if you're already advertising things, well, you're going to have to probably increase the budget if you're already maxed out. If you're not maxed out, leave it as is. But what we're doing here is we are running a sale. We're not just bringing the price down and launching it at that price. We are, let's say that the retail price is $50 and we're going to run a 50% off discount. Then obviously it's going to be $25 in the sale. So we want to make sure that that sale is in there. We're not just reducing the price. That's one important factor there. Okay. Or one important piece of this little strategy. Okay. Then what we're going to do is turn on the Etsy ads. We're going to have a budget of $5 per day if we're just starting to launch our products. If we're already launching, then we're going to just increase it by maybe $5. Okay. Then from there, we're going to let that run for 7 days. Okay. We're not just going to run it for 1 day or 2 days. We're going to run it for 7 days. Let the Etsy ads algorithm get it into their system as well. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to look at the ads data coming in. Yes, we're going to, of course, look at that, but we're really looking at, are we getting clicks and are we getting sales? Okay. Or are we getting impressions? Are we getting sales? We want to look at that stuff too, because the impressions is telling us that, yes, we are indexing for the right keywords. Okay. If we're running Etsy ads and we see, oh, well, we're not really getting that many impressions, then we know we might have missed the mark on the keyword. Okay. So that's really, really important. Now I know Etsy ads for a lot of people is confusing, and maybe you've never run them before. We have an Etsy ads guide. It's free. If you want that guide, it walks through our entire Etsy ad strategy, breaks it down. If you want a copy of that, just put ads in the comments, and we'll send you a copy of that. All right. Now, that's the first 7 days. The second 7 days is almost identical. The only difference is we are going to be reducing, or actually increasing, the price by taking off some of that discount. So if it was 50%, now it might be 30%. Okay. And this way here, we're starting to inch our way up to what it will sell for when we are through the launch phase. Okay. Now, one other important thing that I should bring up, if you have an email list, you should be driving those people to this as well. Okay. Like I said in the beginning, as much traffic as we can throw at this thing when we're in this launch phase, we want to do. Okay. So we're going to launch this thing aggressively. That's why it's called the aggressive launch strategy, because that's what we're doing. It's very aggressive. A lot of people are not going to do this. And the reason why is because they're like, well, I want to make profit on everything I sell. I get it. But we're just doing this as a way to market the product, to get it ranked. So this way here, we get reviews, our conversions are going to be higher, and so on and so on. Okay. So we're going to run that for basically 1 week, the most discount that we're going to offer. Then we're going to bring it to the next level here, which is going to be, we're going to reduce that now, or increase the price, however you want to look at it. And then from there, we are going to finish this thing off with just reducing it even, like another level. So if 50% was the first week, 30% was the next week, and then maybe 20% will be the last week. Okay. And that's kind of how we would do it. After 3 weeks, we've run this thing through. If we've picked a good product that has good demand, we should have plenty of impressions, plenty of clicks, and we should have some sales. If we don't, we have to fix one of those areas. for not getting impressions means we might not have picked a product that's in demand, or we might not have zoned or keyed in on the right keywords. Okay. So there's things now that we can look at instead of putting the product up there and waiting. Okay. That's what a lot of people will do. Now, this is not going to happen for every product that we sell. Okay. Because we are doing this for the products that we feel have the most potential to be ranked and to get organic traffic that will bring people into our shop. So this way here, they can see the other products that we have for sale. All right. So that's the aggressive launch to rank strategy. Chris, do we have any questions on that?
So I think it was Zila said, wait, the second step, should we increase the price or the discount? So we should always be starting by setting our price where we want to sell. Right? Mm-hmm. What we're then doing is discounting from that. So if we're talking about the promotions and discounts that Scott was just talking about, the first thing that we're going to do is go in and set that maximum discount for the first week. And then we're going to reduce that discount the second week and the third week until we get back to our regular price or something close to it. And Scott, I think the two big things, and let me know if I'm missing anything, the two biggest reasons that we're doing this is we're getting data back fast. We know that if price is an object, it's not going to be an object during this. But really what we're trying to know is if we can get it in front of somebody with ads, with email traffic, if it happens to show up because we get that new listing boost from Etsy, if it shows up in front of someone, do they do one or more things? First, do they click? Second, if they click, do they buy, right? So that's the first thing that we're trying to do with the strategy. And it's a great way to do it because you're calling a lot more attention to your listing by using the discount, by having deadlines, by being involved in some of these things. You're going to stand out more in the organic search results, which means we're going to get more clicks. If we can get more clicks, then we have more potential sales. The second thing that I'm seeing from this, and the biggest reason that I love this from a data nerd perspective, Scott, is we get a really good idea of what our potential issue is. And we've talked about a few different potential issues as to why your particular listing is not selling more. The first and the most obvious one is there's not enough demand for it. Well, if we're running Etsy ads and we're not getting any impressions, then there's likely not demand for that product and we miss something in that product validation stage. If we move past that, then we're just looking at clicks and conversion rate. And by removing any of the potential barriers that we might have, be it price or not having the urgency to get it right now, both of which we can eliminate with a time-limited promotion, which is what we're doing here, we can really see if somebody gets to our listing, is it that our listing isn't up to snuff, or is it converting really well for us? And we can learn that very quickly as opposed to waiting 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months to have enough data to be able to do that. We can shortcut that process even over and above what we would be able to do just by turning ads on. Am I missing anything there, Scott?
No, that was perfect. And it seems like some really, really good comments, and keep them coming. If you guys do have questions on this, just go ahead and drop them in the comments, and we'll star them and we'll try to come back to them. We're going to leave a little bit of time to answer any questions because I got a bunch more to cover here, guys. So we got to keep plowing through. Guys, do us a favor. If you're getting value from this, smash the like button, share it with someone, or share it if you would. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content, that we can help you a little bit further, and you'll be notified when we publish new videos. All right. So, also I should probably say, I get this all the time, is people are like, okay, great, you send emails, I hear email, but I have no idea like how to do this email thing. We have an email guide as well. And if you would like a copy of that, just put email in the comments. I know I'm going to get asked about that. We've got more stuff here coming that's going to also speak to that. So if you would like that guide, make sure you put email in the comments and we'll send you a copy of the email playbook, as we call it. All right. So let's keep rocking and rolling on through this. I'm going to pull my notes up so I don't miss anything. Okay, cool. Now, this next one it's pretty simple, but it is advanced. And the reason why I'm calling it an advanced strategy is because a lot of times people don't do this, or they don't strategically think about doing this. All right. So I just said, like, we want to drive that traffic into our shop, right? So we're advertising this one product and we've reduced the price, but let's say that we get it back to where, well, actually, let me back up. Let's say, for example, we're running that promotion and you're breaking even, or maybe you're making just $1 and you're like, oh my gosh, it's killing me because I'm not making any more money from that. This next piece will actually help with that as well. All right. So if you are not creating strategically products that could be purchased together, you need to start doing that. Okay. We're always thinking to ourselves, that customer came in the door. What else can we create for that customer? So, this advanced strategy is creating a little, even if it's a small mini product line, 3 to 5 products that could be purchased together. We get several orders that are coming in that are not just one sale or one order or one product in the order. It's 2, it's 3, it's 5. And the reason why is because our products lend themselves well to each other. So forget about the aggressive launch strategy to rank right now. If all we did is we create these products that could be purchased together, well, naturally, if you get one person to come in and you got more for them to buy, you're probably going to increase your sales. And what's going to happen when you increase your sales? Everything else lifts because you have now more of a chance to get reviews. If you get more reviews, you're going to probably convert higher. Okay. So for us, we're thinking to ourselves, yes, I'm going to get a customer to come in my shop. And when they come in the shop, they might not have been looking for that, but now that they saw it, they want to buy it. Has that happened to anyone? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever walked into a store looking for one thing and left out with 3 or 4 or 5 things? I have plenty of times. All right. So that's what you want to think about. Now, going into the aggressive launch strategy, if you think about it now, you're like, I'm advertising and I'm driving people to this one product that I might not be making as much money, but if I can get them in my shop, I know I've got a chance to make a bigger sale. That makes it like, okay, I'm willing to only make $1, $5, $10 when I could be making $30, $40, whatever. You're willing to sacrifice that even after the launch period if you're getting enough traffic in the store and you see that your order value is going up. So for us, we're always thinking 3 to 5 products. Is there 3 to 5 that go together that someone could buy in one go? Okay. So that one there, not a lot of explaining to do on that, other than if you don't have a bunch of products that could be kind of brought together and put into someone's shopping cart because it's related, I would start doing that. All right. And I say that that's advanced because a lot of times people are just like, oh, a fishing thing is selling. Cool. We'll sell that. Oh, wow. Look at this. Someone's into gardening. We'll sell that. So it's a shop of all these different niches. That's why we focus on the one niche and very close niches that are going to be able to at least lend themselves to each other. Okay. So that's going to be the second little advanced strategy here that we are deploying. And I think that anyone that wants to increase the revenue that they're doing, especially going into Q4 and 2025, you want to be doing this. Chris, do we have any questions on that or even on the aggressive launch strategy?
No, I think that makes a lot of sense to people. The launch strategy combined with this can be extremely powerful. And I think this is where people miss out if you're not using the niche-based approach, because you don't have a lot of things that you can sell together. And not only does it mean that we can get larger orders, but it also means that we'll have more repeat customers. So even if they don't take it right away, which is more likely to happen in Q4 or during big holiday selling seasons, they have the potential of coming back. And we know that the most valuable Etsy buyers start at the shop level when they come back, and they come back again and again, 10, 11, 12 or more times per year. And they like to start with the places they've purchased from in the past. So if we can create those multiple products, not only can we potentially create larger order sizes, but we can also create more repeat customers. And I think, Scott, if we combine this with the strategy we talked about in the past of buy 2 or more, or buy 3 or more items and save 20%, which is a promotion type that's available inside of the Etsy backend, you will start to see those order sizes creep up, but only if you're launching multiple things that the same person can buy.
Yep, 100%. All right, cool. Let's move on. All right, number 3, and this one here is advanced. Okay. And the reason why I say this one's advanced is because I would be willing to bet that probably 80, maybe even 90% of Etsy sellers are not doing this. They're not doing it. This really comes from years of running e-commerce businesses. Okay. And that is email list building. Okay. Email list building. Now, building the list doesn't necessarily make you money, although there is a way that you can build your list and make money pretty much at the same time. And this is what we have done time and time again. Okay. And so we call this our fishbowl method. Some of you may or may not have already heard us talk about this. I'm curious in the comments if you can let me know. Have you ever heard us talk about the fishbowl method? Curious. Drop it in the comments. I'd like to know. Let me explain it really quickly, and then we'll talk about how you can actually do it. Okay. So the external fishbowl method, I call it external because we're kind of doing this in a way that's not directly inside of Etsy. A lot of people are only focusing on Etsy traffic. This is how we can take traffic that's not necessarily on there, but we can bring it to the platform. Okay. So the first thing that we need is a fishbowl. No, I'm just kidding. We used to use a fishbowl years ago. My wife and I, this is where the whole idea came from. My wife and I owned a photography studio. We had a gala that we used to go to every year for the school. We would donate some of our services for a family portrait session, like a $250 value. And then we would bring our easels there, and then we would set up all the pictures, and we would put a fishbowl out front of our booth, and we would have little slips of paper where people could fill out their name and email address, fold it in half, put it in the fishbowl. And at the end of the night, we would pick a winner that would also win a package from us. And then we would take those emails, we would collect them, and we would then email those people after the fact and say, hey, sorry you didn't win, because only one person's going to win, right? Sorry you didn't win, but we'd love to give you 20% off your next photo session. And guess what? We got a lot of business from that. Why? Because the people that were putting their names in that fishbowl were people that had kids and that were a family. Why do I know that? Because it was at a school event, right? So we put it in front of the right audience. People would walk by, fill out their name and email, drop it in there. Okay. They want a chance to win. Now we know that they have kids. We know that they're a family, and they eventually might come to us. All right. And that worked really, really well. Well, we've brought that to the online space, and it's way easier now than it ever has been. So now what we do is, and we've done this several times in several businesses, we've had students do it, built a really, really good size list, and also make good money from the list. Okay. But it's very simple. We have to target the right people. So we go to Facebook and we find those people. We use Facebook ads, very, very low budget, $5 to start. And we target the right people. We put it in front of the right audience, okay, for our niche. Then we have a landing page that is built that offers the things that we're going to be giving away. We take our products, we take 4 or 5 of our products, we put it into a bundle, okay? We present it on that page. We give it a deadline. This is going to be, we're going to pick the winner in 29 days or whatever, like 30 days. And so then it has a countdown. And then it says how much the value is. It's $150 or a $200 value, right? We're going to pick one winner. It gives bullet points of what you're going to possibly win. And then you put your name and email address in. And then the cool thing is then they can get more entries when they share it and when they do other actions. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. Actually, inside of that email playbook, we actually go through that. So if you want that, just put email in the comments and you'll get a copy of that, and you can see exactly how that all works. But that's the gist of it. Now, the cool thing is, though, while this is happening, you're going to be sending an email to those people going, hey, thank you so much for dropping your name in the fishbowl. And we're going to be picking a winner here soon. Make sure that if you know anyone that is interested in the giveaway, share it and you'll get more entries. Here's your link. And then you have this special link that you give them. And then from there, you're going to probably get sales, because in your little PS, you're going to put in there, and oh, by the way, if you want to check out our Etsy shop, go here. And then in the meantime, they're going to go and they're going to look through and they might buy something. But here's the cool thing. When it's all said and done, you've got a list of people that entered their name and email because they're your target market. You targeted them, right? You went after the right people. And then you're going to say, hey, Susie Brown from, Atlanta won. Congratulations. And we appreciate everyone entering, but because not everyone can be a winner, we wanted to give everyone something where they all can win. Here's a 20% off discount for the next 3 days. And then you send a link with a coupon code, or you can just reduce the price by 20% for 3 days, and then send people over to there, and you're going to remind them through email. And that has worked so well for us. And like I said, various businesses and now Etsy, it's worked really, really well. So that is the fishbowl method. Again, if you would like to download our email playbook, that is in there. You can go ahead and just put email in the comments and we'll send you a copy. All right. But that's advanced because, yeah, there's a little bit of learning there. There's a little bit of setup there. There's a little bit of going in that uncharted territory of Facebook and targeting people, and you're not just on Etsy. Yeah, it's a little bit more advanced. But everyone else is doing this. We need to get a little bit more advanced than everyone else if we want to succeed. Okay. If we want to separate ourselves from the competition. All right. So that is the email list building side. Now, there are other ways to do email list building. And once you kind of have this thing set up, we can go right into Everbee email and we can set up a landing page and we can say, hey, you want to join our VIP list where you're going to get discounts, you're going to get exclusive discounts, but you're also going to be possibly entered into our upcoming giveaways. We're going to do special releases for you. Just put your name and email address in and you'll become part of our VIP Gardener Club. And now they're going to be on your list. And you would put that in your description. You'd put that in maybe an image slot. You might put that in your message that they get sent when they place their order, and you can invite them. Now, people will say, well, Etsy doesn't let you collect emails. That's wrong. That's false information. They don't want you to just blindly send people emails. They want you to get their permission. And that's what we're doing here. We're like, hey, do you want to join our VIP club and get some discounts and be part of some of our giveaways? If you do, click here. They click there. They enter their name and email address. They say, yes, I would like to be on your list. And that's it. So they've acknowledged it. And by the way, if you don't believe me, Etsy created something called the share and save link. Why did they create that? Where do they think you're going to send traffic? Just from social media? No. They've actually had it in their documentation where they want you to send email to people that signed up to say, yeah, I want to receive email. Or yeah, I want to be, part of your community. All right. So that's the third advanced strategy. And that one there has worked really well. And I can promise you this, most Etsy sellers are not doing it. They're just not. Chris, I'm sure we're going to have questions on that one.
Oh, we got a ton. So lots of people saying, when should I send my first email? And we knew we were going to get that question. The answer is as soon as you have one person on that list, just like we say, Etsy ads turn that on when you have just one listing up, right? Anytime you have one thing, you can do the next thing. So if you're going with the fishbowl method, or you're just using the organic opt-in with the QR code, or go see my VIP list in your link in the shop, any of those kinds of things, right? As soon as you start getting a handful of people in there, 1 or 2 is more than enough to start emailing. No one knows that you're only sending it just to them. And as soon as they have a few friends join the list, you'll be sending it to more than just them, but it's easy to get in the habit up front. Scott, the other thing was Susan said, I set up Everbee email and I have my QR code. I'm getting people to sign up for my newsletter so that I can get their email addresses. Out of 280 sales, I only got 10 to sign up. So first of all, back of the napkin math here, that seems like a 3.5% conversion rate, which would be great anywhere else, right? If we're running traffic to a page and we got 3.5% of people to sign up, that would be awesome. But the word that stuck out to me here, Scott, was newsletter. What are your thoughts on using a newsletter as an opt-in versus the verbiage that you just used? And I know, don't yell at me in the chat, verbiage, not a real word, but everybody knows what I mean by it, right? The words that you just used.
Yep.
VIP list. What is the difference in how compelling that offer is, or what people think they're going to get? And do you think if Susan made that language change, that would increase her conversion rate from sales to email addresses gained?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's big because everyone is kind of like newsletter, right? Like sign up for my newsletter. No one cares about your newsletter. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll just be frank. All right. They just don't. Okay. They want to know what's it in for them. Why are they signing up for it? Okay. Now I'll give you an example. If you put email in the comments, we are going to send you a link to a landing page that will say, hey, put your name and email address in and you can download it. Okay. I'll basically come right out and tell you that. There's no secret there. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to download that guide. You're going to get an email to download the guide, and then you can decide if you want to unsubscribe or not. If you're getting value from us, just like we're doing right here, you're probably not going to, want to unsubscribe. You're going to be like, no, I like Scott and Chris. I want to get their emails. So we have to understand people need a reason to give you their email address, not just sign up to our newsletter. Like, what's in it for me? That's what they want to know, right? So whenever you're thinking about that, it's like, if you ever go to a website, like a good website that's, they're doing really well. Like, I'm just thinking of ones like Untuck It is a good site. Bulletproof is another one. Any site that you go to, you're probably going to see get 10% or 20% off your first order, enter your email address to get the code. It's pretty much standard. They're not saying sign up for our newsletter, put your email in. You're like, no, I don't care, but I want to get that 20% discount, right? I buy salmon for my father from this Alaskan salmon company. And I go to the website and it says, hey, if you're new, get 20% off. I did it. And guess what? I get emails from them all the time. And guess what? I love them because when they tell me they've got a special coming up, I want to know about it. So it's not necessarily signing up for their newsletter. I don't care about their newsletter. I care about what's in it for me. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Wild Alaskan Company. That's the company. That's the one I buy all the salmon for my father. And by the way, my father, he's 81 years old, and he's hard to buy for sometimes because he's got whatever he needs, he's got, right? And I'm like, now every single holiday, and I just order him one of these bundles, and it lasts him about 3 months until the next holiday or his birthday, and I send him another one. But there you go. $25 off your first box when you join today. That's compelling. Chris, can't hear you.
Plus free shipping.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Which
huge.
is a big deal when you're shipping a frozen thing, right? You're not typically going to see free shipping on an offer like this. If you're buying this, because it's heavy to ship, they have to pack it in dry ice or ice. It has to be cold shipped. So shipping is extremely expensive on this. I haven't priced this out, but I'm willing to bet that's another 25 or 30 bucks in a lot of cases for something like this, right, at least in cost on their end, right? So they're giving a compelling offer. They're not saying sign up for Salmon Monthly and find out all about the different salmon that we caught this month, which would be cool if you're a fishing website about salmon fishing and people want to see those pictures, but that's not their goal. Their goal is to sell stuff. So sign up for the VIP list, join us. You'll get first access to discounts, giveaways, all of those kinds of things. And then all we have to do, Scott, is follow up on that, right? Hey, I told you you're always going to be the first person to know about the giveaway. Guess what? We're doing a new fishbowl giveaway. Drop your name and email in. You'll be the first to get the chance to win. That doesn't mean we can't let other people jump in. It does mean that we're going to let them know. That gives them a leg up because it means they know about it before anybody else. But it also means that we get some entries faster, which gives us a little bit more virality if we're doing something like the fishbowl method. So something like this can be huge, and you just have to find something that's compelling for your audience. It's probably not going to be sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah, it's got to be your products. And if you're creating products for your niche, like we had said, you're going to take those 3 to 5 products. That's your bundle. In their case, they're like, well, we'll give you $25 off and free shipping, which is crazy. And they're not making a lot of money on that, right? They're hoping that you come back and buy again and again and again, right? So really, really important. I'm glad that you brought that up, Chris, because that was a great visual so people can see. Super simple to do, but everyone's doing that because what's in it for me? No one cares about the newsletter. I'm not signing up for Wild Alaskan newsletter. See what's new. Like, who cares, right? People are buying salmon. They want to sell salmon. So give me, a discount. Yes, you can send, hey, we went out, we caught, way more salmon this month. So we're having a salmon special for the month or whatever. Right. And then you're like, oh, cool. Great. So then they might tell a story about it. That's fine. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving on here. All right. Oh, and by the way, guys, you guys might be like, oh, well, what do I send? I've got you. Okay. I've got you. Cause there's something I'm going to share in a little while. I'm going to break down an email that did really well. I'm going to break that down. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to send people, you're going to be just fine. Just stick around. Okay. We're going to share that with you here next. All right. Or coming up, I should say. All right. The next one, now that we've built that email list, okay, now we're getting into what we can do with the email list. So we build the email list. We can probably get some sales while we're building the email list. Like they're getting sales when they build that email list that Chris just showed you, right? If I sign up, they're getting sales from that. Okay. So you can build the list and get sales at the same time. But the fourth advanced strategy is the email product launch. We call this our profit push because that's basically what we're doing here. We're launching the product. All right. And we'll get into the profit push. This is the product launch, but there's going to be, kind of already gave it away, but number 5 is going to be the profit push. So stick around for that. But the product launch really works by creating a deadline. So this way here, we have a start, a middle, and an end. Okay. A start, a middle, and an end. And this is one mistake I see a lot of people that are new to email marketing is they're like, I only want to send one because I don't want to bother them. And you're like, but you got to email more because people are not paying attention to you. Even though you think everyone that's on your list is going to see everything you send, spoiler alert, they're not. They're not going to see it all. Trust me. Okay. Been doing it a long time. You can look at your open rate. You can look at your click-through rate. You can look at all that stuff. And I'm telling you right now, if you're getting a 25 to a 35% open rate, you are doing amazing. That means there's 70% of people that aren't seeing your stuff. That doesn't mean that they're not ever going to see your stuff. It just means usually when you're sending emails, not all of your list is seeing your stuff. Okay. So that's why we have to do that. So the email product launch looks like this. And I'm going to use it for a 5-day product launch. Okay. 5-day product launch. You got a brand new product. You're releasing it to you're releasing it to your, to your community as well. And going back to the first advanced strategy, if you are doing a launch, you're probably going to be doing the aggressive launch, which we talked about with the Etsy ads. This is going to fall in line with that. All right. So let's say on Monday is the announcement that you're launching a new product. It's launching today and you are giving 50% off. Let's just say that. Well, you let people know, here it is. Okay. Then generally what I do is on Tuesday, I will send to the people that did not open the email the following morning. So I give it 24 hours. Okay. And that's built right into Everbee email, by the way. And we should probably throw that up on the screen here, Chris. Everbee, if you guys want to go ahead and try that, I definitely recommend using that for email marketing. If you go to brandcreators.com/Everbee, you can go there and you can sign up. All right. And I highly recommend it. Okay. So that's the thing, right? So we want to send out the email Monday. Tuesday, we're sending to the unopens, people that have not opened the email. That's a feature built right into Everbee email. Okay. Then Wednesday, we're sending an email to the list again. And we're saying, hey, I just wanted to check in with you because wanted to remind you, just in case you missed Monday's email, we're doing this thing. And then I basically say the same thing that I said in the Monday email. Thursday, send to the unopens. All right. People that didn't open on Wednesday, I'm sending it to those people. And then on Friday, we are going to send not just one email, but 2 emails. And sometimes, I know, crazy, 3. All right. But let's just say you're new and you don't want to send that many. On Friday, we're going to at least send 2 though. Okay. We're going to send one in the morning. Hey, just wanted to let you know today's the last day to get your discount, and you'll be able to get our brand new product at this, deep discount for helping us out, and that's it. And then in the evening, we're going to send another email that's basically like 6 hours left or however many hours left there is. Right. And then we're going to say, hey, I know I'm emailing you again, but I know that people are probably busy and I wanted to make sure you didn't miss out on this. Okay. Go here to get, your sweatshirt or whatever it is that you're offering, right? For 50% off. After tonight, this will expire and it will be, the discount will be gone. It'll expire. And that's it. Okay. That right there, not just for Etsy, but we've sold on Amazon, use the same model. We've sold our own stuff here on Brand Creators, same model. Okay. Same launch. Sometimes we'll do it 7 days. Some days we'll do it 3 days. Some days we do it 5 days. Okay. But using it for a product launch or a product release can work really, really well, because also you have to frame it in a way that's like, hey, you guys are getting exclusive. You guys are on the list, and then you basically will tell them what's going on. All right. And you probably even can say, hey, and after you purchase it, if you'll do me a favor, leave us a review. That'd be amazing. And then you can get some reviews going there too. Okay. So that's the email product launch. That's a 5-day launch, by the way. And that works really, really well. And if you're going to tie that into the aggressive launch to rank fast strategy, gangbusters. Chris, any questions on that?
There is not. I think the biggest concern in any of that, Scott, is going to be, am I sending too many emails? And the point that you made is, if you're getting a 25 or 30% open rate, that is killer. And even if somebody's opening those emails, it doesn't mean that they've had the time to take action on the offer inside of the email. And what we found is more is better than less. And I know that sounds simple, it sounds reductive, but if we send fewer emails, what we have found is we get way more emails the day after that discount expires that say, hey, I was trying to buy this and now I can't do it. Can you turn it back on for me? If you give people those extra reminders, they take action on it. Are you still going to get 1 or 2 people that say, hey, can you extend this for me because I was in Europe and didn't understand the time difference or whatever? Probably, but that number is reduced massively. More importantly, though, not only is that number of customer service interactions reduced, but you will see more sales. Why? Because, Scott, let's say we're doing this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We send an email on Thursday. Somebody opens up that email Thursday morning. They go, sweet, I want to buy a dancing avocado mug for 30% off this weekend, but I'm at work right now, so I'm going to do that when I get home. Well, they get home, they have a beer, maybe some chicken wings, they watch some Thursday night football, they forget about it. Friday, same thing. You send a reminder email to them Friday. Awesome. Dang it, I'm at work again. I don't want to get caught buying dancing avocado mugs at work. That's a great way for me to get flagged by my employer because they're frowning on dancing avocado mugs. So I'll do this when I get home. Then everything that happens Friday night happens. Saturday rolls around, and by Sunday, they're sitting there watching the NFL Sunday games, and they've forgotten entirely that they wanted to get that dancing avocado mug. Giving them those extra nudges on the last day of that promotion gives people the reminder that they need in a lot of cases. Life happens. We're all busy people. And yes, some people will take advantage of it as soon as that email comes in, but a lot of people will wait till the last minute. And what we've seen every single time we've run one of these campaigns, and Scott, you and I have been running this exact formula for more than 10 years now.
Yep.
And what we see is a big spike in sales right away from the people who are at a place where they can buy something. And then every time we see one, we get a nice little blip, right? Kind of like a heartbeat. And then that very last email, even though we've sent 2 more or 3 more earlier in the day, it goes like this, right? So we get a nice little bump Saturday morning or Sunday morning, a nice little bump Sunday afternoon, and then we get a huge spike because people go, it's going away tonight. I need to make the decision about whether I want this or not. And they go make the purchase. And if we don't send those last few emails, not only do you end up with more upset people than you would from somebody who says, hey, you sent me a lot of emails this week,
Yeah.
right? But you also end up with fewer sales if you're not doing that. So do that. And the way to diffuse that concern, and it's something you do very well in your emails, is you send that last email. Hey, I know it's Sunday night. I know you're busy. I know you're watching the Eagles whoop up on the Giants. That was a reference just for Scott. But this goes away at midnight. I didn't want you to miss out. This is my last email for now, I promise. Right. And even the people who are already angrily typing the reply, when they see, oh, it's the last one, they go, okay, have a nice night. I was just about to send you a nasty message and then I saw it was going to be the last one. Send, right? And so you can diffuse a lot of the concern that people have and get all of the benefits just with a little bit of extra language in that final email.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Let's move on to the last one here. And the last one I kind of already gave away, and it's pretty much similar to what we just went over. And this is what we call the email profit push campaign. All right. And so it's very similar. The only difference is that we are only doing this for a discount. Okay. Or if there was a bonus that you were offering, but it's pretty much going to be for a discount. And the other one works for a product launch. So we're kind of like, we're giving people the opportunity to get in early and be rewarded for that, right? The profit push is all about, hey, we only do this once a year. Maybe it's, I'll give you an example. Maybe it's Black Friday, okay, or maybe it's Cyber Monday, right? Where you do that one day that they get this thing, but maybe you do a profit push campaign that's kind of like Black Friday in July, and then it becomes a little bit of an event and a reason why you're doing this, and then you create your campaign, your email campaign, your promotion around that. So I'll give you an example. I'm coming up on my 23rd or 24th year. I'll have to look at the exact date, but pretty much that I've been self-employed. Okay. And so I'll probably send something out to my email list here for brand creators and say, hey, I'm celebrating being self-employed for 23 years, and I decided to do something special. So I'm going to do this. And then you basically just do the thing. And then you just let people know. And I'm going to give a deadline. Hey, I'm going to do this up through this day. So there's always got to be a deadline, because if there's a deadline, you have a reason for emailing a little bit more frequently. Okay. So this way here, it's reminders. It's also maybe talking about, I'll give you another great thing. And I've done this actually with my wife's stuff. If someone left you a review inside of Etsy, you take a picture of that. Okay. They probably are wearing it or they're using it, right? You send a picture of that in your email, and you're going to show people that other people are buying it and other people are happy. And this is a great way because, and I've done this where I said, this made me so happy today. Smiley face. And then you open up like, I had to send this to you because I have the world's best customers. I just got this review, and it makes me so happy when someone is wearing my design that I spent so much time doing, and just to know that it's making someone else happy and enjoying it really, really does make me feel great. So thank you so much for all of you that have left reviews. And oh, by the way, there's 3 days left to get whatever it is, right? So that's a way to, number one, show off your stuff that people are buying it and people like it, but then also it gives you another reason to email to let people know about the thing without really making that the main focus. So that's another thing that we do. Again, these are advanced strategies. I said they were going to be advanced. This is not something that someone that's brand new is going to come in and go, oh, I understand all that. This is taking me years to basically kind of formulate and put into now my own, simple process and strategy. But that's why I'm trying to take 20 plus years of what I've been doing, distilling it and giving it to you guys so we can plug this into your Etsy stuff. All right. So that is the email profit push. It's pretty much the same formula, right? We let people know something's happening. We follow up to let them know that, hey, it's coming to an end soon. Then we let them know last day, hey, it's ending today. And then we remind them again, hey, it's ending in so many hours. And that's it. And we actually had one person that we worked with probably around 2 years ago now. And she sold just t-shirts. And we ran this same campaign, the profit push campaign. Okay. And that did over $20,000 in 4 days. 4 days, $20,000 in sales. Crazy on something that was only like $20. Worked really good. She had a list of about, I think, 20,000 people. So she had a bigger list, but holy mackerel, it worked really, really well. I also did it for a guy that owned a parrot. It was a parrot e-commerce business where he sold a lot of parrot stuff. So again, it works in all different niches. He did it. I think did just over $5,000 or $6,000 in like 3 days, just from running the same type of profit push. So it works. I've done it. I've worked with clients. It works. So email is big. Once again, if you guys are brand new to email and you want to start plugging this into your business, just put email in the comments and we'll send you a link. So this way here, you can go ahead and download that. And yes, guess what? You will give me your email address and I will send you emails. Okay. I'll just be honest, right? There's no secret here. Okay. So anyway, if you want that, just put that in the comments and we'll send you a copy. All right, Chris, What do we got there? I know we're going to do a recap on what we just went over, but is there anything there that we need to address before we get into the recap? And Chris, are you okay to do the recap today? I know your voice is a little weak. You need me to do it for you, bud?
We'll see if it holds up. We'll just do it this way.
You know, Chris, last time you whispered like that, someone said that was very creepy. I forget who it was.
I think
they said,
yeah, it's
Chris,
probably
that really is kind of
this
creepy with the bald head and everything.
Yeah. They can get over it. I don't know. If I got to whisper, I got to whisper. I think I am good to do the recap, Scott. One of the things I saw pop up is, what is the difference in what you're doing between that 5-day product launch and the email profit push? Or is the email profit push just a 5-day product launch, right? Are they the same thing essentially, or is there a difference that people need to be really aware of?
They're pretty much the same. It's really about how often we're sending emails and kind of like they all have a deadline. I think it comes down to there's got to be a deadline. Okay. If the deadline is there, we have a starting point, we have a middle point, we have an end point. And then everything kind of builds up to the deadline. And then that puts the pressure. That's what it is. I'm going to call it what it is. It puts pressure for you to act. Okay. I react to that. I don't know about you, but when I know that there's only a day left and I gotta, get my, if I go to Dick's Sporting Goods and they've got $10, I've got my $10 thing that's going to expire. I'm going to go there and make sure I get my $10. I mean, we all do it. So it's not like it's a bad thing. We all need a push, right? Because life happens. People get busy. So no, there's really nothing different other than it's the target of what we're going after. If it's a launch, we're trying to launch that product and get as many sales as we can so we can increase rank and so we can get reviews. The profit push is clearly to make a profit and to push money, right? To push revenue, right? That's what we're trying to do.
I think the other difference, at least in my head, is the product launch partners directly with that 21-day fast launch strategy that we're talking about. You don't have to have an email list to be able to do the fast launch strategy, but it's even more powerful if you're able to do a profit push campaign inside of that aggressive launch. Why? One, email traffic is the most likely to convert. In most cases, they're going to be either people who really want to be customers and haven't purchased anything yet, or pre-existing customers. And it's a lot easier to sell to those people, converts at a much higher rate than any other kind of traffic, even Etsy ads. So if we're able to drive that really targeted traffic, we get data back even faster. We get that sales data back even faster. Etsy starts to go, hey, this listing's moving a little bit. They start to understand what we should rank for and what we shouldn't. They start to show us to more people, and we get that flywheel kicked into high gear, even if we haven't turned Etsy ads on yet, which we should be doing as part of that aggressive launch, as long as we have the budget to do so. Yeah,
cool. All right. So we're gonna keep moving here. Chris is gonna do a recap. We've been doing these. They've been working out really good because, well, we just went there for 50 some minutes. We're gonna try to break this down and do a quick recap in under 10 minutes. And I think we're going to be able to do it. And then what we're going to do, though, is we're going to move into, I'm going to share with you guys an email that was sent recently, and I'm going to show you the numbers behind it. And this one here was not a profit push, but it brought in some profit. So I'm going to share that with you here soon. So stick around for that. So Chris, you ready, man? I'm going to set this up for you and you can take her away.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. If you want to crush your Q4 or 2025 sales, well, this is for you. We just did a 50-minute live stream breaking down 5 advanced sales strategies for Etsy sellers. And what we're going to do here is we're going to recap it and give you the main takeaways. And well, I'm not going to do it. Chris Schaefer's going to do it. Chris, what are those 5 advanced strategies? Can you go ahead and cover those for us now?
Yeah, so if you are looking for a little bit of a leg up and you want to do some more advanced things, not just the sit back and wait, the field of dreams approach, as we get into 2025, there's a few things that you and I put together, Scott, 5 specifically, that we think will help give you that leg up if you're looking for something a little bit more advanced than the post and ghost or list and sit approach that most Etsy sellers use. The first thing, and this is why most people go with that post and ghost strategy, is they're waiting to get data back. They're waiting for the algorithm to figure out where they are. We're not huge fans of that. There's an easy way around this. Since Etsy's algorithm relies very heavily on traffic and sales, we can drive some traffic and sales. And what we like to use is what we call our aggressive launch strategy. This is typically going to take 2 to 3 weeks. We found that the 21-day one or the 3-week one performs a little bit better. And essentially what we're doing is we are creating our listing, pricing it where we want to sell. At that point, we take a look at what our break-even cost is and create a promotion, not discounting the sale price or not discounting the price, but creating a percentage discount promotion in the back end of Etsy for those new listings that we are trying to quickly launch and bring it down as close as we feel comfortable to that break-even price. Why do I say break-even? Why have you heard me say that again and again? Nobody wants to lose their shirt, right? And if we can sell it at break-even, it means we're at least not losing money on the deal. So if you want to get a little more aggressive, I guess you can, but the goal of this at the end of the day is to make money. And so if we're getting some of those sales in at that discount, we don't want to just be shoveling money out the door. If we figure out that break-even price using something like the Everbee profit calculator, then we can say, okay, I can afford to do a 40% discount or a 50% discount on this product and move a few units out the door, start to get people buying, right? And we're going to let that original discount as much as we can afford to or want to discount that product for the first 7 days. The next 7-day period, we're going to scale that back a little bit. So if we start at 40, maybe we bring it to 25 or 30% for that second 7-day window. And the third 7-day window, we're going to bring that back to 10, 15, 20%, right? Again, just dropping it down. If you can keep it around that 25% mark as that low end discount. So maybe we start at 40, then we pull it back to 30, then we pull it back into that 20 or 25 range. What Etsy has said is their internal data shows that you will get more conversions on a 25% discount than you will on a lower discount. Since the goal of this entire endeavor is to get as many sales as possible as quickly as possible. If we can stick to that range, it's helpful. If you can't because your margins aren't there, then that's okay. Just know that you're leaving a few conversions on the table if you're not sticking to that particular mark. The other portion of this, Scott, and there's actually two more, but the biggest portion is knowing how to drive traffic to this. So it's all fine and dandy that we run this discount. It's going to get more people clicking on it, but to get people to click on it, we have to be shown to begin with. So this strategy is extremely useful if you are partnering this with Etsy ads. And I'm not going to get into all of the ins and outs of Etsy ads because we'd be here for the next 3.5 hours or however long. Scott and I have talked about that in the past. I'm sure it's been hours upon hours, and you can find all of the different things that we've talked about in terms of how to make that work. But what you need to know is if you can afford to put on even $3 to $5 a day here, that's more than enough in almost every product to get those initial impressions. And if we can get those initial impressions from the ads, partner that with the new listing boost that Etsy gives us on the organic side to try to figure out where we should rank. We know we're going to turn those eyeballs into clicks. And that's the first thing that Etsy wants to see. We're going to get more clicks than our competition as long as we created our listing correctly, because we're going to stand out even more than they are in the search results. Etsy, when we're running those promotions, will give us some of the additional things like the 25% off or 30% off. Maybe they'll give us the countdown timer, depending on where we are in the sale. That leads to more clicks on your listings. The lower price, the discount, and the urgency, along with your well-created listing, will lead to those sales. And what does this really do for us? Well, one, it gets us some early sales, and in a way that becomes more and more profitable over time. Two, it helps get us data back fast. If we just post a listing and let the organic algorithm take its time and show us slowly and do all of these kinds of things, we will eventually settle out wherever our listing is destined to be inside of the search algorithm. The downside to that is that can take 3, 4, 5, in some cases, 6 months or more. Obviously, nobody wants to wait that long to figure out if a new listing was worthwhile or not. We can shortcut that process to a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks until we really understand where we will end up in the organic search algorithm. The other thing that this does for us is it allows us to quickly understand what our barrier to conversion is. So even if we're getting those clicks from the Etsy ads, from where Etsy decides to show us on organic, and maybe from our email list if we have one, and we'll talk more about that here in just a minute, that doesn't necessarily mean that those are going to turn into sales. And we've talked in the past about some of the different barriers to conversion. Maybe your listing photos aren't quite right. Maybe the title doesn't match what the customer is looking for exactly, but you're getting that traffic. Instead of having to wait a few months to understand, hey, when somebody comes to the listing, here's what potentially the problem is, we can find that out immediately because we've already eliminated price as a potential thing. We've eliminated a lot of the potential issues in terms of getting enough traffic in a short enough period of time. So now the question becomes, if I'm getting some traffic, what do I need to do in order to get them to buy? And why aren't they purchasing anything? And if we can figure this out early, that means we can solve the problem faster for the long term, which ultimately leads to more sales. It is a little bit more advanced because most Etsy sellers will come in and just say, I'm going to put my product up. Maybe I'll run a discount on it at some point, but I'm not going to worry about Etsy ads. I'm not going to worry about looking at the data that I get back to try to optimize it for the algorithm. But it is something that once you've done once or twice, you'll notice not only do you get more sales faster, but you will rank higher much more quickly and for a longer period of time because you're giving Etsy the exact information that they're looking for. Essentially, as soon as that listing hits the Etsy search algorithm, you're starting to drive traffic and sales and correcting any of the potential problems that you might have, which is something Etsy and Etsy customers ultimately love. Advanced strategy number 2, Scott, having multiple related products. And you and I have talked about this in a few different ways. The easiest way that I like to think about this is multiple things that someone can buy for the same person. The easiest way to do this is to have a niche-based shop. And this is something we talk about all the time. Rather than the putting up 5,000 different kinds of mugs, for selling all of the products in the shop to avocado enthusiasts, it naturally leads to them looking at multiple things in the shop or having the ability to purchase multiple things. If your dad is really into fishing and you're on Etsy searching for the perfect Christmas gift for your dad, the chance of you finding 2 or 3 things in a shop that's all about fishing that your dad would really be interested in is extremely high. So not only does this lead to larger order sizes because people will find 2 or 3 things that go together, and if we combine that with Etsy's ability to create a discount for 2 or more, 3 or more type of items, we can force that a little bit as long as we have those multiple related products. The other benefit to this is we get more orders from repeat customers. And we know, based on looking at Etsy's own data that they publish through the seller handbook and the Etsy buyer survey, that Etsy buyers do like starting at the shop level once they've purchased from a shop. So if they don't know who to buy from for their dad's fishing gifts, they might go to Etsy search. But once they've found a good source of that, they like to start at the shop level rather than at the search level. So if we can take advantage of that by having as many related products as possible, and again, the niche-based approach leads to this automatically. If we can do that, then the next time something comes around, I don't know, your dad's birthday, Father's Day, whatever the next thing is that's coming around, you say, hey, I bought him that really cool Christmas gift from Scott's Bass Fishing Emporium. Let me go back over there on Etsy, see what they have that's new. And if they have something that I like, then I'll purchase it. That means we can create more products and have less competition, even for something that's a very highly competitive product on the search side of things, because people are going to ignore the search algorithm and start at the shop level. If you are using the throw spaghetti at the wall approach, the field of dreams, post as many different types of things as possible, and you're ignoring the niche related side of this, you are missing out on larger order sizes, which means more profit and a massive increase potential in those repeat sales from repeat customers. It is a little bit more advanced because a lot of the strategies that we hear for new Etsy sellers is just post 1,000 mugs this week and see what happens, right? That's not the strategy Etsy has asked people to use moving forward. That's not the strategy shoppers are looking for. And quite frankly, it's extremely detrimental to your bottom line because you're constantly chasing that next product that you're going to launch, and you're only ever going to be competing for new buyers. You lose out on the larger order sizes and the repeat buyers. Advanced strategy number 3 is building an email list. And if you guys have been hanging around with us for any length of time, you've probably heard Scott or myself talking about this. But having an email list is the foundation for any e-commerce business. And yes, you can say, oh, okay, maybe I want to add text messages to that, or I want to add a Facebook group, or I want to add. That's okay too. But if we start with the email list, that's going to get us a massive return on investment for very low investment. Additionally, we're able to do a few key things inside of the Etsy ecosystem. The first one is going to be drive traffic at will, right? If we have an email list, we have an external list of those customers, we're able to drive them back into the Etsy ecosystem whenever we want and need. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. But the other one is it lets us run ideas by customers, and it lets us give them exclusive discounts, and it allows us to use them to grow that list even larger. And if you've heard us talk about building email lists in the past, the biggest way that we like to recommend people do this, there's a lot of different ways that you can, but the best way we have found for people who are not experienced email list builders is by using what we refer to as the fishbowl method. You also may hear this referenced as the giveaway method. If you're not familiar, if you've ever walked into a dentist's office or a restaurant, a lot of times they'll have a fishbowl or a plastic container up front where people can go, drop in their business card, and they'll win a free meal or a free teeth whitening or something like that, right? We're essentially doing the same thing, just online. If you want to learn how to do all of the ins and outs in this, just comment email below and we'll drop you the link for you to be able to get that guide. Dirty little secret, that's exactly what we just did, right? All we're doing is allowing you to get onto our email list by giving you the opportunity to get something of value. In the case of an e-commerce brand, it's easier to use the fishbowl method because we can just take our own products, and that's going to be the thing that is enough value for a customer or a potential customer to turn over their email in exchange for the ability to win that. Tip number 4, advanced seller strategy number 4 is using that email list that we've just built to partner with the aggressive launch strategy that we just talked about. And I mentioned when we were talking about that the goal of the aggressive launch strategy is to get as much traffic as quickly as possible so that we can get as many sales as quickly as possible so that we can get data back fast. You may remember a minute ago when I was talking about the power of the email list that I said, this is the traffic that's the most likely traffic to buy. If we're not taking advantage of that email list when we're running an aggressive product launch, we're missing out on a huge boost to our bottom line and to the traffic coming into the listing. We're also missing out on not just the sales on that product, but again, if we're using the niche-based approach, like we talked about in advanced strategy number 2, and we have multiple related products, we're missing out on people who say, I don't really like that one, but let me go check out what else is new, or the add-on products that we would have in the larger order size. The best way that we have found to do an email product launch and partner it with that aggressive launch strategy is by using a 5-day campaign. And I know I said 5 days, that sounds like a lot, but it goes by in the blink of an eye. So when we're running that first discount is the best place to do this. We can start sending an email. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, just so you know, I created this cool new thing. It's available right now. You can save 30%, 40%, whatever that discount is that we picked on the aggressive launch side. Go check it out. That discount's going away on Saturday, right? Day number 2, we just send a little bit of a reminder. Day number 3, same thing. Day number 4, hey, this is going away tomorrow. That discount I've been talking about, that's going to go away tomorrow, just so you know. Day 5, this is where we get a little bit of pushback from people. We like to send 2, 3, or maybe if we're getting really fancy with it, 4 emails. But in most cases, we're going to send 3. And I know there's people screaming in the comments right now, that's a lot of emails. And the answer is yes. But we also have to remember that people are busy. They're doing a lot of different things. And so if you're getting a 25, 30, or even a 40% open rate on your emails, which would be killer, there's a good chance that if you're sending those 3 emails on the last day, that all 3 of those emails, even if you're getting that 30% open rate, are opened by completely different people. And what we've seen time and time again in the 10 plus years that we've been using this strategy is if we don't get a little bit more aggressive on that last day, we leave a lot of sales on the table. So the last day works kind of like that whole campaign consolidated into just one day. So in the morning of the last day, we're going to say, hey, this is going away tonight. Just wanted to remind you. In the afternoon, we're going to say, hey, this is going away tonight. Just wanted to remind you. In the evening, this is going away in just a few hours. Just wanted to remind you. And by the way, I know I'm emailing more than normal. This is the last one for now. That's it. And what we're able to do by sending that 5-day campaign is not only get 2 nice increases in sales, and we'll typically see the biggest spikes when that first email goes out and when that last email goes out, but we're also sending traffic and sales on a daily basis. Now, days 2, 3, and 4 are not going to be as hot of a sales day as days 1 and 5, but that's okay because we're still going to see every time we send that email to our list, a nice little spike in visits and a nice little spike in sales. And what we are looking for is that consistency. Etsy's algorithm loves to see a little bit of consistency almost as much as they love to see that sales and traffic data coming in. We're able to give the algorithm exactly what it wants. And because they're on our email list and they're getting a little bit of a discount, they're much more likely to purchase than any other kind of traffic. So we can shortcut the entire algorithm by combining that email product launch strategy with the aggressive launch strategy that we talked about as the advanced seller strategy number 1. Scott, number 5 is using something similar to that product launch, but we call this our profit push campaign. Essentially, what we're doing here is anytime we want to promote a bunch of different things, or we just want a little spike in sales, we don't have to wait for a new product to launch. We don't have to wait to partner with that crazy discount that we're doing for the first 7, 14, or 21 days. We can send what we call the 5-day profit push to those listings or to the entire store. And one of the best ways we've found to take advantage of this, whether you're doing this as the profit push strategy or as the product launch strategy, is to partner with Etsy's Share and Save program. You save an additional percentage. You get some of those listing fees back, which can make a huge difference, especially when you're driving your own traffic. Save a couple $100 extra and go from there. So I think number 5 here, Scott, the biggest difference is going to be just when we use this. The campaign structure is going to look almost identical, but it's something that we can use all year long. Obviously, we're not going to say, hey, it's all new products, because we're not doing a product launch. But we might do something like, hey, our Black Friday sale is going live. Go check this out. And we can use that same 5-day strategy, the same profit push campaign, to drive them over for that. Or our new Halloween designs are out, right? Or check out our Christmas collection. And we can do that at any point as long as we have that email list. If you're looking to get a little bit more advanced in 2025, Scott, the real trick comes down to a few different things. One, we have to understand what drives the Etsy SEO algorithm. The biggest factor here is traffic and sales. So no matter what you're doing, you should be doing something to spike both of those. The 5 strategies that we just covered do a great job of doing that. 2, if you have some resources that you haven't already taken advantage of, you need to be leveraging those as a brand. We can't be reliant on Etsy's SEO algorithm. We have to look at things like running Etsy ads. We have to look at things like doing a little bit of marketing outside of the Etsy ecosystem, like something like an email list, right? And the third thing that I would say, if you're looking for a more advanced strategy, is understanding how all of these things play together. You may remember when I was talking about thing number 1 here, that aggressive launch strategy, that the real reason that we're doing that, yes, we're getting some sales out of it, is to get the data back. And I know a lot of Etsy sellers like to be more on the creative side, on the design side. But if we can spend just a little bit of time each week looking at the numbers, which Etsy is doing a better and better job of showing us in a way that makes sense to most people, then we can say, okay, if I make this one small change, I'm going to sell more. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about.
All right. What a recap there. Your voice held up and everything. Amazing. Yeah, looks good. Looks like yeah, a lot of people saying cool, they got it. Couple other questions. Let me just answer this one real quick. From Joel, says, does Everbee have the ability to see if our emails are open, or is another service provider? No, it does. It's all built right in. It shows you your opens. It shows you your clicks. So yeah, you can see your unsubscribes. It gives you all of the data. It just basically pulls it all in. And then this one real quick. Let's see here. I had it start. I got another one here. Okay. Yeah. This one here. Can you set up a coupon code exclusively for your email list? You can, if you want to just create the code and then just send the code to your list, then the only people that are going to see it is your email list. I have found if I'm going to do that, or if I do that, it does reduce the amount of people that actually enter the code. Now, with that being said, sometimes people just go there, they don't enter the code, and they would pay higher. But I always like to just basically reduce the price and then let them know that it's been reduced versus them getting a one-time coupon code. Now, if you are setting this up on the back end of Everbee on the landing page, then what you would do is when they click or when they put their name and email address in on the landing page, the thank you page that you will customize inside of Everbee, you would then create that code that they would only see if they entered their name and email address. And then that code would be live for as long as you want. All right. Let's keep moving here. Now, keeping on the email thread here, I'm going to share with you guys something that just happened, and I'm going to break it down. And if you guys are wondering, like, well, what do I send my email list? I'm going to kind of walk you through that here next. All right. So that being said, let me make sure that my screen is shared. Let me make sure here. All right. Share. And I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to make sure it's okay. So I guess I have to share it, and then I have to share it again, Chris. So I just thought it would be in the queue so I could just click on it, but I guess you can't do that when you're sharing a tab.
You can, but you have to remove it from the studio.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a different button, which is dumb.
Yeah.
But
Okay. We won't do that. We'll just, we'll fix that later. All right. So let me go ahead and get this queued up. All right. All right. So what I'm about to share with you generated $479. It was 9 orders, and it took me less than 10 minutes to do. Pretty exciting, right? Well, the thing is, anyone can do it. You do need something that, well, you might have to start building, and that is an email list. So what I want to do here, though, is I want to share with you what it looks like when you do have an email list, and hopefully you'll start, well, building your email list. If you would like a guide, I have a free guide that walks you through how we build our email lists, and you can get access to that. Just put email in the comments and I'll send it to you. All right. So let's get into it. I'm going to actually share my screen so I can share with you exactly the email and also what happened. All right. So here it is. We have a very, very basic email. All right. Very, very basic email. And I am going to actually, I'm going to read some of it here to you so you can kind of see how simple it is. Now, just also, I should probably mention, I wasn't very good in school at all, but I'm able to write emails and they convert pretty well. Been doing this now for over 15 years with email. And well, I've learned a few things over the years. I'm going to break it all down for you. So here's what it looks like, though, as far as numbers go. All right, here's the 9 orders, and here is the revenue that I said. And here's the cool thing. Saved $19.16 because I used what they gave me. The traffic from share and save links, you get a discount. They discount your fees. All right. So that's pretty cool. All right. So 9 orders, $479 in revenue and $19.16 saved. Here's the other cool thing. Look at this. Took me less than 10 minutes and it's only 108 words. Only 108 words. I think we can all do that. I think we all can do that. So let's kind of read through the email right here. Subject line, really important though. On subject lines, this is what's going to get the open. Okay. So the subject line, super important. Here, I'm going to use this example. New teacher's pumpkin spice, question mark. Now, this is if I was in the, the education space, maybe the teacher space. This would be a title that would probably speak to them because maybe they are on my list. They should be because they purchased something from me or because they had gotten on my email list because I was doing a giveaway. That's another strategy on how I build an email list. And actually in that guide that I mentioned earlier, I break that all down for you. So once again, if you want that guide, just put email in the comments and I'll send it to you. So the title or the subject line here is new teacher's pumpkin spice. And then here is the email. Hey there, it's Lisa. Smiley face. Now, my emails are always going to be very, very loose. They're going to be also like I'm writing to a friend. I'm not using emojis. I'm using the same kind of characters that you would use if you were texting someone. All right. So, hey there, it's Lisa. It's officially fall weather here where I live and has me in the mood for, well, some pumpkin and spice coffee. All right. So I'm letting people know a little bit about like, hey, it's fall. Yes. They're going to be like, yeah, it is fall. And you're like, oh, pumpkin and spice. A lot of people like pumpkin and spice. And it gives a little bit of the personality there. So then here I go on to say, recently I created a new sweatshirt that I'm naming Pumpkin Spiced Teacher. And it was inspired by my love for everything pumpkin and spice. Okay. Smiley face once again. So basically letting them know I created something because it's the season and I'm a teacher and well, this is all about pumpkin and spice. Okay. So then here's the call to action. Now this is really important. The call to action is so important because a lot of people will just, they won't actually tell them what to do. We all need to be told what to do. Here is basically it's a direct command if we're in the NLP, world, which we're not. I don't know much about NLP, but basically it's where you're giving a direct command and then it's where they're going to want to do that. I just say, go here to check it out. I mean, that's what you would tell a friend, right? You'd be like, hey, I just created this new thing. Go here to check it out. Like that's it. That's what you would say. Now that's a hyperlink, meaning that if they click on that, they're going to go to the listing. Now I got the link, okay, for this here, right? It's my link inside of the Etsy dashboard for my listing. So each listing has its own sharing save link, or you can do it for the entire shop. So I use the link going directly to a sweatshirt. Then I go on to say there's also 8 fall colors that are available for this new design. And I love all of them. Smiley face. Happy fall, y'all. Lisa. And then down here, I just said in the PS, I've been busy creating some new Christmas items and adding them to my Etsy shop here. Now here, see where it says new Christmas items and adding them to my Etsy shop here. It's basically people are going to see that that's blue. They're also going to see here and they're going to want to know what it is. Okay. And then I'm saying I'm adding lots of other items for the classroom too that your kids will love. Okay. And that's it. That's the email. Pretty simple. Now let me move over to the other screen here that I wanted to share, which is right here. And this is kind of the breakdown of what it looks like. So if we look at, I wrote the email, okay, and I've been doing this a long time. That email, like I said, took me less than 10 minutes, probably 5 minutes. All right. Then from there, we're sending it to the email list. Okay. The email list that I've built. From there, I had to make sure though in the email that I'm using that. Very important. Okay. So the email list, we're driving them to this share and save link that's in the email. And then that's taking them to the listing that I was talking about. Okay. This is how complex it is. Not very, right? We have email list, we have share and save link, we have Etsy listing. That is it. And then the results, well, in this case, 9 orders, $479 in revenue, and I saved almost $20 in fees because I have my own email list. All right. So is this hard? No. Does it take work? Yeah, it does take some work. And it is something that you're probably going to want to learn. All right. Now, Chris, you and I have been doing email for quite a while now. Is there anything that I left out here that we should be addressing?
I think the biggest thing is understanding, Scott, what you did in that email. And if you have a second and can pull that first email template back up, I think it may be useful to walk through that very quickly because there's essentially 3 things that you're doing there that make that email work. So if you go back to that first slide, right, there's 3 things we have to do. The first thing we have to do is get the attention. And that's what you're really doing with that subject line. Great way to do that is to say new, improved, ask a question, right? Have you seen this? That's a great way of capturing somebody's attention. From there, what we need to do is build the relationship. How do you do that? You put in a little bit of personality. How are you doing that here? Hey, it's Lisa. It's starting to get cold, and that makes me think about pumpkin spice, right? You've automatically created that connection with the people in your audience who like pumpkin spice. And then we get into the call to action. So it's attention, relationship, call to action is what we're looking for here. Your call to action is 2 steps. The first portion is I got this, right? I just created this pumpkin spice teacher thing. The real call to action is check this out, right? Go here, click this. And most people forget about that third portion because they say, I don't know how to write a good call to action. I don't know what to do. Go here, get thing is a great strategy to use. And it's something you've used, I've used, a lot of people have used without fail. If you want to get a little fancier with it, you can, but there's no real reason to. Just go here, check it out, or go here and save, click and save if you're running a discount, right? Go here, get this, tells them exactly what they need to do if they want to see that new shirt. Now, Scott, the question I know we're going to get asked here is, why didn't you include a giant image or all of the images from your listing in this email so that they don't have to go click? Why
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm glad that you brought that up because when you are sending emails, couple different things. If I put the image in there, yes, they can see it. And yes, that may want them to go over there and maybe buy it, right? Or look at it closer. But I also want to leave the curiosity piece in there that makes them go, oh, I wonder what it looks like. And then they click over. So again, in an email, our job is to get the email opened, number one, right? That's the subject line. The second thing is when they do read the email, we want to keep them engaged. So we don't want this long email that they got to kind of comb through and it's just too long. If someone opened this up, they see it's pretty short, it's pretty easy to read, they're going to read it. Okay. But the other thing is, like I said, I want the curiosity piece there to be like, I wonder what it looks like. And I also, I want to highlight this real quick. So where I went down here and said, there's also 8 fall colors that are available for this new design. And I love them all. The reason, my thought process in doing that was, if someone's wondering about colors or thinking to themselves, I wonder what colors they are, because they're fall colors, you might want to know. So I threw that in there as another piece that could be a curiosity piece that could get them to go, oh, I wonder what colors they have. There's 8. Wow, that's a lot. Let me go check them out. So that was another subtle way of me getting a little bit of curiosity in there without showing an image that could show all of them. It wouldn't give them a reason to click.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up. Not only does it give them that additional reason, but it's also, 1, easier to create, and 2, will get delivered more frequently. Anytime we add in images or any of those kinds of things, it can reduce the number of people that it shows up for, because Gmail, Hotmail, all of the mail services go, that doesn't look like something a human would send to another human. Maybe they put it in promotions, maybe they put it in spam even. And so if we're able to avoid that, that's okay. Doesn't mean we're never going to send an image, but most of those emails are just going to be simple and text-based. We don't have to design anything fancy, because if they want to see the cool thing, they're going to click over and see it. And if we can drive that traffic to our Etsy listing, that's even better. If we pair that with that share and save link, that also means they don't have to buy that specific thing. If they buy something else, we still get the benefit of that down the road. And so if we're driving that traffic, we get the advantage of the traffic. The more traffic we drive, the more conversion potential we have. So we want everybody who's curious about it to go over to that listing as quickly as possible.
Yeah. One last thing I want to bring up here into this email is I want to go down here. Okay. I want to go into the PS. A lot of times people don't put a PS in there. So here's what I did. This one right here. Okay. This call to action. All right. That one there goes directly to the listing. This here, this goes directly to the store. So I use 2 share and save links. So this way here, if they click on this, they're going to go directly to the listing. This one here, they're going to go directly to the shop. Okay. And the reason why I did that is because someone might not be interested in a sweatshirt, but they might be wondering, what other items do you have for the classroom? Right. So this way I was able to cover myself and go, oh, maybe they're not interested in a sweatshirt. That might have turned them off in a sense of like, I don't wear sweatshirts. But down here, they're now saying like, oh, I've also been busy creating some new Christmas items and adding them to my Etsy shop here. Okay. And then that gives them the, oh, I wonder what else they got. So this way here, I'm able to get that. Okay. I got 2 separate links in there, but they're basically going the same place, just 2 different areas. So hopefully that makes sense. But I think that's a big takeaway for people, is to know that this is simple. Okay. Yes, it takes some learning. It takes practice. It takes writing emails, but you can see this isn't one that would get you upset. It doesn't feel like a sales email, right? Just because of the way I started it. Okay. And I think a lot of times people struggle with how to start it, what to put in it. I literally came up with this in a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, like not that long. All right. So, if you are still thinking to yourself, I don't know about this email thing, I don't even know where to start, grab that playbook. All right. The email playbook, you can get a copy. Just put email in the comments. We'll send it to you. But regardless, I want you to start thinking to yourself, if you can drive your own traffic over to your Etsy shop, how that can really impact your sales. It can get you more reviews. It can help you have an advantage over your competition, because I'd be willing to bet your competition's not doing this. Why? Because it's not the norm. It's not what's built into Etsy. If it's not built into Etsy, people aren't doing it. It takes a little bit of, understanding marketing, understanding how to write a little bit of an email that can possibly sell. And if you learn this one skill, I do believe it's a skill. If you learn this one skill, it could take your sales and your traffic to the next level. And that's why I'm huge on building an email list and using email marketing to drive traffic and sales to your Etsy shop. All right, Chris, I know we'll have some questions. Do we have any that we have to dig into, or can we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. I know we have a bunch that came from the email during the initial section, so we can answer all of those together kind of in a rapid fire way here at the end if you want.
All right, cool. And then Chris, you have something that you want to share from Etsy Up, right?
Yeah, two little videos that we want to pull in.
Okay. So how do we want to cue this up? You got anything you want? What are we discussing?
Yeah, I think it's the SEO secrets, right? So they went through a few different things and they covered a lot of the stuff that they've released recently.
Okay.
The biggest thing is they dropped some nuggets that I think sellers are going to want to be aware of.
Okay. I'll tee it up.
All right.
All right. So I guess Etsy just came out with some more SEO news, updates, whatever you want to call it. They actually did this in their Etsy Up. And well, to share this with us, I've got Mr. Chris Schaefer here, and he is going to be sharing it with us, but also playing a couple clips from the Etsy Up so we can actually hear it from Etsy themselves. So Chris, what do we got?
So if you aren't aware of what Etsy Up is, it's their digital seller conference that they do every year. It's essentially a way to get all of the Etsy sellers together and let them know some of the things that are changing on the platform and give them a little bit more information. They covered a lot of different things, mostly around some of the new features. There wasn't anything revolutionary in the vast majority of Etsy Up. So if you haven't watched it yet, if you want to turn it on in the background, you can, but you're not going to miss a whole lot, except for the few nuggets that we were able to pull out, Scott, related to how their algorithm works. And I think the easiest way to do this, I pulled two clips where they talk about some things that they're either using currently or will potentially be using in the future that sellers are going to want to be aware of. And you know that they launched that new listing visibility dashboard. They launched their new customer service score type of thing. And so a lot of people have been asking us, hey, when does this go into effect? Is it hitting right now? They're saying October 1st for some of these things, but is it already in effect? Like the $6 shipping change? What's going on? Have they made any changes? So that's really what you and I were looking for when we were digging through this. But I think right out of the horse's mouth, the first thing is going to be this. And there's a few things that I want you to take a look at here, Scott, and I want to get your opinion here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maxwell, and I lead Etsy's search and ads teams. The core of my work is helping buyers find their perfect item while ensuring sellers have ample opportunities for growth. I was a part of the team that brought the new Etsy search visibility page in Shop Manager to life, and I'm so excited to tell you more about it today. When shoppers are searching on Etsy, it's important that they can easily find quality listings from shops they can trust. This is what makes them come back to Etsy again and again. That's why Etsy Search currently takes into account your shop, listing, and customer service quality. One thing we frequently hear from sellers is that you want more transparency about what goes into Etsy Search so that you can improve how your listings appear. This new page does exactly that by showing you how your listings are performing, along with personalized recommendations for how to improve. It's an easy way for you to know if you're meeting buyer expectations, so you can help improve your visibility. Let's take a closer look. The Etsy Search visibility page, which you can access through Shop Manager, will show you how your listings are performing in the areas of your shop, listing, and customer service quality. Let's dig into each of these. First up is your shop. It's important that a buyer knows who they're purchasing from to help build trust. For example, your shop should have a shop icon, which helps to represent your business. These details are important because it helps the buyer understand who you are and what goes into your shop, business, and the products you make. All of this helps to further establish a trusting relationship and increase transparency. This is a great spot to showcase everything special about your business. Next is customer service. As an Etsy seller, you work hard to create a smooth and trusted experience for your customers. Great customer service is key to building trust and to help make sure you're giving buyers a positive experience. This is what will make them buy from your shop again and recommend it to others. That's why shops that consistently meet our customer service standards, like average review rating or message response rate, are prioritized in search. Here are some ways to help encourage positive reviews. shipping orders on time and making sure the processing times you gave are accurate, responding quickly to combos and reaching out to the buyer if there's an issue with their order, and exceeding your customers' expectations with nice touches, like a handwritten thank you note. We'll review your customer service performance and let you know if your shop is meeting customer service standards on the first of each month. The third area is your listings. When shoppers are searching on Etsy, it's important that they can easily find high-quality listings. Each of your listings should include details like multiple high-quality photos and a return policy to help buyers feel confident about making a purchase. The Etsy search visibility page shows you all the opportunities you have to optimize your shop and listings to help you show up more in search. Let's take a look at a few examples. If some of your listings are missing a return policy, you can click into this insight and quickly add them to your listings. You don't have to offer returns or exchanges on your items unless it's required where you live. It just lets buyers know that your policy is to not accept returns or exchanges, so it's clear to them before they make a purchase. Etsy buyers have consistently told us that quality photos are critical when they're deciding to make a purchase. So having multiple high-quality photos of your items could make all the difference in landing the sale. When determining the quality of photos, we look at things like lighting and resolution to make sure buyers are seeing clear images. We know it takes time and care to create quality photos, so if you notice that you have several listings to update, don't worry. This page is also available in the Etsy Seller app, which makes it easy to upload photos directly from your phone. Ready to get started? Head to the new Etsy search visibility page in your shop manager to see how your listings are doing. We'll show you personalized actions you can take to help your items get in front of even more buyers. The Etsy search visibility page is just one of the ways we're helping you get the insights you need about your shop so that you can make the best decisions for your business. Taking our recommended actions could help you reach even more shoppers and make more sales. Thanks for joining me today.
Okay. Oh.
What about now? Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. At a base level, we knew all about that page, right? We've already known that they're making those recommendations. Listening to him there, Scott, and I've gotten the chance to hear a few different times now that message. What were some of the things that you took away from that beyond just the fact that that page exists? What are they telling you that you should be doing to rank higher in the algorithm? Did you catch any of those?
Yeah, I think the one that stood out was like your shop itself. Like they want you to have like a shop image. They want you to basically complete everything and make it all filled out, but they also want transparency of like who's behind the business. So instead of having like a funny cartoon character as your profile picture, they want it to be you. Your logo, they want it to be representing your company. They want a banner image. Like they want everything filled out to make it look legit. It's not like you just set up shop and you threw up a cardboard sign, right? That's kind of what I took away there, which I think is, it's what we've been saying forever, right? Like treat it like it's a real business and start filling everything out. I think customer service, that has been standard. I mean, yes, they're saying that that's important, but I'll be honest with you, Chris, like what I just heard there, I didn't hear anything new. They're just bringing that stuff to the surface. But what I would have liked to have heard more of is like keywords. Like, tell me more about keywords. Tell me more about sales. Tell me more about reviews. What they're telling me is like, we want a return policy so people feel like they have a way to get something returned. Okay, great, right? That's basic stuff, right? Tell us some stuff that actually makes the algorithm move. They're telling us like basic surface level, like to me, common sense things anyway. And they're putting it into your dashboard now to say, oh, if you put your return policy now, we'll show you more. You know what? I bet you if I didn't have a return policy, but I was getting 50 sales a day, I bet you I'm still going to outperform the one that's got the return policy. Just saying. Am I wrong, Chris? I'm a little annoyed by that because that thing didn't tell anybody anything new.
And I think comparing that to last year's session on SEO at Etsy Up, where they did a Q&A about myths and like, how important are tags? Oh my God, here's all of the way that we use tags. It was a lot more transparent last year, but they have a new feature, which is kind of cool. The thing I took away from that, Scott, I'm looking at this through the lens of the other things that we've heard in the past. And what we know their goal is twofold. One, they want sellers to have a better understanding of what they're doing right and wrong in the eyes of the algorithm without saying the information that you and I would want, which is like, if you have 5 pictures, you get a boost of 4, right? Or whatever it is, because that's gameable. But what they're trying to do is give people a little bit more insight, because they know no one, except for me, for whatever reason, reads through all of the different SEO documentation in the seller handbook and pieces those things together. I took away a few different things. But the lens that I think we need to look at this through is the difference between the old algorithm and where they want to move with it.
Yeah.
Right now, the old algorithm is based on two things: search and buyer intent, right? Whether or not you're likely to convert, what you and I talk about in terms of traffic and conversion. What they want to move to is something more like YouTube, which is still going to be heavily reliant on conversions, but also suggestions that they can rely on.
Yeah.
And if we listen to what Josh Silverman said in some of the other clips that you and I have found recently, basically what he's saying is we're looking for some metrics that indicate quality experience from the buyers. The thing he mentioned there I thought was interesting. Good customer service and having a good customer service score actually does lead to a boost. We've said in the past, they say star seller didn't. So if you look at the handbook, it says star seller doesn't. It appears that the new score, whether it affected it in the past or not as the individual things, that new score, your customer service score, does have a direct impact. Why? Because it's helping them move towards the, I know this shop is reliable. If I suggest something that somebody might like from this shop, I know that that's going to be important. The other thing, and this is something you and I harp on all the time, was the emphasis on images and image quality. And they showed off some features inside of the Etsy seller app that will make it a lot easier for people. Why do they place such a heavy emphasis on image and image quality?
I mean, images are like one of the main things that is going to determine if you're going to buy or not, or even just click. So your main image is going to be very important because that's going to get the click. When someone comes into the listing, it's going to be more of them looking through the images and seeing if there's something that they had a concern with, or if they got a little closer look of it, or maybe it's the quality. And then that's just a conversion piece. So that to me is like, we're all visual, right? Like we want to see, we can't actually go there and pick it up and look underneath
any
it
method to the third factor in the
and all of that. So that's why to me, that's so important, because they have found also, like with good images, it's going to increase conversions. And that's why they've built that into their app now, that if you load a picture in, they've got like sliders to brighten it and sharpen it and do all those things, because they know they have to make it easier for people to make their images better.
Yeah, so I'd say there's a couple key takeaways here. One, we have to look at this and think about where they're moving with the algorithm.
Yep.
People have always said, just like they said up until Etsy up last year, we still get comments about it. Tags don't matter on Etsy. The thing we hear all the time is your shop doesn't matter. It's an individual listing game. And while that is important right now, they are very clearly moving to a place where they're going to be more and more reliant on the information in the shop. And if you read through some of the minutia, the small print details on the new customer service dashboard documentation, essentially what they're saying is, if your policies aren't completely filled out, there's a potential penalty or not a boost, right? Because they don't penalize anybody. They just deboost, right? If you don't have your shop title filled out, which is not the name, it's that little subtitle, which is confusing nomenclature, but Etsy, that could potentially be a problem. And if you don't have the about section filled out, that could potentially be an issue. Now, you should be doing all of those things anyway, because it impacts conversion rate. But we've seen now over the last 2 or 3 weeks that they're coming out again and again and putting a lot of emphasis on that. So don't think your shop doesn't matter. We've seen from the Etsy buyer survey, your shop absolutely matters to your customer. Now, Etsy is telling us it does matter from a search engine optimization perspective. The thing number 2 that was a bigger takeaway from me here is that they are going to be using that customer service experience as a boost. Again, if you're giving a poor experience, they're not saying they're penalizing you. You just don't get the bonus points. I'm not sure how that works, but it is what it is. It's important now, but it's going to be even more important moving forward when they start moving towards that suggestion conversion versus the search and conversion algorithm. The last thing is, and this is something you and I harp on all the time, there's a heavy emphasis on image and image quality. So if you're not getting your images right, you're not looking at what's working in your space, you're leaving a lot of money on the table from a conversion rate standpoint. But Etsy's also saying you're leaving a lot of potential impressions on the table if you're not filling that out the way that they suggest that you fill that out. And I know a lot of sellers have gotten some notifications saying, hey, this looks like a bundle or whatever. They may not actively be using those flags now to not prioritize you in the listings or in the search, but that will be something that's rolled out if it's not rolled out already. So if you can address those images, start with your top sellers, take advantage of this kind of grace period that we have right now before it really kicks into full force, and take the advice that Etsy is giving you. Because what they're saying is they're trying to be more transparent. They can't be 100% transparent in the way that Scott and I would want them to be transparent, the way that you want them to be transparent, but they're trying to give us at least a little bit of insight to say, hey, our like AI, which is really in charge of this algorithm, flagged this image. You might want to change it. That's probably a good sign that you should change it. It doesn't mean we always take their advice, but it's at least something we need to take into consideration. Scott, there was one other nugget that I pulled out that I thought was intriguing. And in terms of something that may have a future impact on the search algorithm. So if you give me 1 second here, I should be able to pull that up here for us.
Customer service stats page, and that's on-time shipping and tracking. To help meet buyers' expectations and needs, it's important to fulfill and ship orders on time. Etsy's service standard is to ship at least 80% of orders on time within the review period. Shipping on time means your order is handed off to a shipping partner and you've marked it as complete on Etsy by your order's ship by date. This factor doesn't affect your search ranking right now, but it's still important to meet this standard to give buyers a positive experience.
Did you catch that little slip right there?
No, I didn't. What did you highlight there?
Hitting your on-time shipping doesn't affect your search ranking right now. And then she moved right on. What does that imply? That means it will impact your search ranking.
Yeah, okay. In the
future.
So she's saying, she's basically saying like if you're shipped on time or not on time, it doesn't affect it now, but
currently
it will. Right. She didn't say it will, but that's kind of what you're reading between the lines.
Yeah, that's the implication. And it makes sense when we look at the other things that they were talking about during Etsy Up. If they're moving more towards that suggestion algorithm, right? Suggestion plus conversion, which is how you would end up showing, then what are the things that they need to look at? Obviously, when somebody comes to your listing, they can look at the same things. But in making that recommendation to a potential buyer, what do they look at? If we look at what she's talking about, which is more on the customer service side of thing, and her session was more about the customer service dashboard, and we combine that with what the SEO team is telling us, although they say it wasn't important on the star seller side of things, now that they've rolled out this new experience, it is going to be something that we have to be conscious of. And I know there's a lot of sellers on Etsy, especially on the print on demand side, who don't necessarily put the tracking information and do everything the way that they should be doing within the Etsy ecosystem. Maybe they send it in a message, but they don't mark the order as shipped or whatever it is. It's an important thing to start to understand that this is going to be something that not only impacts how they rank your shop, but how they rank each individual listing moving forward. So if you can't keep up with demand, maybe we dial back on sales or ads or any of those kinds of things so that we can make sure we're hitting the customer service metrics, because that's going to become more and more important on the SEO side of things.
Cool. All right. Let's we've got about 5 to 7 minutes for some questions. Then we gotta rock and roll on out of here. Let's go ahead, and I've got some in the queue that I've starred. So let's go ahead and let's see. Jennifer says, do you sometimes have multiple aggressive launch strategies going at the same time? For example, Christmas items and winter sports items, or do you recommend just running one launch at a time? Yeah, there's no reason not to. Yes, you can dedicate like one, maybe you're just going to launch like one big product, but you can do 2 or 3 at the same time if you have the budget for it, if you're going to be running Etsy ads, because that could burn through your budget. If you have an email list, I don't necessarily know that I would do each of those unless they were like a bundle. Like if you were going to have like 3 being purchased together, then maybe, but I would want to have all the emphasis on the one that you want to drive the most traffic and sales through, is what I would say there. Let's see here. Let's see. But Etsy only lets you run a store-wide sale, not a sale on specific items only. So are you suggesting to put the entire shop on that steep of a discount? That's not actually true. If I'm following correctly here, you don't have to do a store-wide sale. You can do a category sale. You can do an individual product sale. It doesn't have to be just for the entire shop.
Yeah, they will default to it being all products, but on the second page of that promo creation screen, depending on which user experience you have, it'll either be 2 radio buttons or a drop down. It will default to all, but you should be able to choose the individual products or the categories there as well.
Yep. This one here. I advertise $7 per day, about 150 items. As I create in-demand listings, I put them on the ads. My budget is maxed out daily. I only have specific or super specific key terms in my ads. Should I increase my budget? Well, $7 for 150 items is pretty small of a budget for 150 items. And I don't really think out of those 150, they're all in-demand products. So I would probably scale that back and only focus on the ones that you know that are in fact in demand. If you're burning through $7, that's good. That means that there's got to be a product or two on there that's eating up the budget. So I'd want to look in at the ads data and go, okay, what ones are getting the clicks? Because the clicks are the ones that are leading to you spending that much money. You're going to have a lot of them that aren't getting any clicks, aren't getting many impressions. I'd probably pause them and only go after the ones that are in fact getting the demand. So that's what I would probably suggest. And then, yeah, if you are maxing out your budget and you're making sales, then yeah, increase the budget. But I do think it's probably going to come down to you're going to trim back that 150. You still might max out your budget, but I'd be looking at those keywords and see, okay, if you are getting clicks, are they turning into sales? And I would want to know, like, you're not wasting money just on the click. Let's keep moving here, Chris. Is there a bundle option when I put up a listing? No. But what you can do is if you create products that are similar and you do the get free shipping when you purchase $35 or more, you'll probably be suggested as a bundle in a sense. So I would just say no, but there is a way to have Etsy suggest people buy more of your stuff. And that would be by offering the $35 get free shipping. Let's see here. Would it be right to collect the emails of customers I sell and send them emails without their permission? No. That's where people think, that's where they get confused. They're like, well, Etsy doesn't want you to send it to your customers. Yes, they don't. You're right. They don't. So what you're saying, no, that's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is the email that goes out, the message that goes out to someone that just purchased from you, to me, that's the only open opportunity for you to invite them. The key word there is invite them to join your VIP list. And what they got to do there is then they have to click on a link. They got to go to a page. They got to enter their name and email address, and they have to click yes, or send me the stuff, or send me the coupon. And then once they do that, now they are raising their hand. They jump through a few hoops. But just because someone bought from you doesn't mean that they want to receive emails from you. So yeah, so I would not do that. Let's see. How do you get people to find companion items? Well, it's like we just said, you can either do the $35 and get free shipping and then have products that are similar and then they'll probably be suggested, or just have products that are similar and Etsy could recommend them when people are in your shop. So that's basically how you would do that. There's no way to force it other than $35 free shipping.
Yeah, and I think there is the more from this shop option at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Not super sexy on mobile, but if they're on desktop, that's an opportunity. So that would be something in your description. If you're, let's say you're constantly running that 20% off if you buy two or more, say, hey, if you want to save 20%, check out the more things below, or click on our shop name and see our entire catalog. You can do that as well. But as you start to sell into the same niche, they're naturally going to start recommending those products more and more moving forward as they move more towards that suggestion-based algorithm and away from the search-based algorithm.
How many products should you advertise at one time? It's going to depend. And really within that, I would just say, I would start with the most opportunity that you have on a product for getting traffic and bringing people into the shop. I would look at that, and that would come into your research. You got to do your research first to know that those are in fact going to be your traffic items that are going to bring people in. Those would be the ones that I would focus on at one time.
Can we put the URL to our landing page in our listings on Etsy? I don't know that I would be doing it on every listing, but you can use the QR code in a photo. That's a weird way to say that word, photo, the image slot, if you will.
Yep.
And you have the call to action inside of the shop announcement, as well as, Scott, the place that everybody forgets about, which if you go through the shop setup process that Etsy advises that you do to get those SEO benefits, the links in the about section are another good place to put that. But you don't want to necessarily be putting a URL in the description on every listing, any of those kinds of things. The follow-up that we get to this all the time is, can I link to my Etsy products from that opt-in page, the VIP list page? I wouldn't do it there, but I would do it on the thank you page. So we're going to essentially send them back to Etsy twice. It'll say, thank you, here's your coupon for 20% off, which, by the way, let me know in the chat. Do you say coupon or coupon?
I was just thinking the same thing.
I was with you all weekend, so now I'm not sure how I say it.
You say coupon, I say coupon.
Yeah. It made me conscious of it just hanging out with you in person this weekend. So we don't necessarily want to plaster that everywhere, but on the thank you page, the page they go to after they type in their name and email, we're going to say, hey, go use your 20% off on Etsy. Additionally, the follow-up emails, we're going to send them to either the top sellers, best sellers, or to a specific listing in those follow-up emails that we send out. So that's where we would be adding those things in.
I need assistance with email marketing. I have Everbee. Grab our guide. Just put it in the comments. Put email in the comments and we'll send you the guide. Let's see. I heard people are putting their QR code to sign up for VIP email list in the last picture spot of each listing. Is this a good idea? Yeah, it's not going to hurt. I don't think there's going to be a huge uptake in that, but it's worth it. I think the biggest opportunity is in that first email that goes out to a customer. I think that's your biggest opportunity. I think putting it in, a spot like your image slot, it could work. Putting in your announcement, yeah, it could work. But I don't think the uptake is going to be as much as someone getting it after they've purchased.
Yeah, and that we even had some people going back and forth in the comments about that. It's not going to be high, right? Because they would have to, one, be looking at it on a computer, two, be at the place where they're ready to scan a QR code. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't use it. If you don't have that 10th image filled in, by all means, just make that your 10th image. A better use of that might be to combine that with a customer review image or another thing to say, hey, if you want to try it and save 20% off, scan this code, right? The bigger place you're going to see people opt in is if you're doing something like the fishbowl method, or just by the link in your about section and the shop banner.
Yep. Let's see here real quick. I have $100 to spend on ads. What are your views on maxing out your ad budget? Do we put it on all the listings? Again, going back to, I wouldn't put it on just all your listings and turn everything on. I would go after the products that I feel like have the most potential for getting traffic over to your shop. If you do have $100 to spend, doesn't mean you will spend it, by the way. So if you put it on there, you're going to see maybe you might spend $15. That's telling you also that there's not enough traffic there for the product listings that you have there. Is the Etsy ad strategy any different for digital products? No. My only thing is with digital products, you got to be careful because digital products are so inexpensive generally. It's like, how do you make ads work? So you definitely need to have a bundle somewhere where you're bundling 5 or 10 of your products into one to get your price up. Because if you're going to try to get someone in on a $5 product, you don't have a lot of margin there, right? So then that's where you're going to try to get them to buy something more. And that would be a bundle of a really irresistible offer. That's also where email would come in, because if someone now downloaded something or wanted to download something, in that download, even you can have a link to your bundle, right? So you have to have a way to follow up with that person. So even if that person doesn't get on your email list, if they download your product, you should have a little file in there that would also say, hey, get 20% off or get our bonus bundle and save 30% off now that you've purchased this, and then give them a link to go there to buy it on Etsy.
Yeah, actually, I saw somebody, Scott, doing a great job with that recently. I was looking at Instagram templates for Michelle, and she said, hey, I'm thinking about hiring a designer. I was like, let's just go to Etsy first. Yeah. And she found a shop that she liked. They were doing exactly that. It was come in on the ad, and then they were doing buy 3, save. And it worked out to essentially be buy 2, get 1 free when you looked at it. And they were able to massively increase the order set because you're not necessarily going to buy one. And if you buy two, you might as well get three because it's free, right? So they're able to spread that out. Yes, they're not going to make quite as much as if you bought all three individually, but I'm willing to bet I'm not the only person that went, oh, well, there's already two in the cart, so I'm just going to add the third one in. And you're able to increase your order size that way. Posh Funk Creative, Chris, what brand pen are you using? I think it's called Seller Summit Chic. This was just a pen I got at a conference that still works. I also have an old school wooden pencil because I ran out of graphite in the mechanical pencil. We're very high tech over here in the Schaefer household. Random question: is it recommended to keep types of items separate on different shops? Types of items, no. Niches, yes. I sell finished crochet items, but I'm also getting into digital products. I'm not sure if I can mix them or not. So if the same person that would buy the finished crochet item is also going to buy the digital products, maybe a crochet pattern, there's no reason you couldn't have those things in the same shop. If you want to sell bass fishing templates, then that would probably be a different shop. If it's not the same customer, it would go into a different shop. But digital, physical, print on demand with handmade, any of those things, as long as it serves the same customer, it's okay to have that in the same shop.
Chris, one more, and then we're going to wrap it up here. I think this is a good one. If someone messages you on Saturday saying they missed the sale and could you give them that discount? What do you do? We've run into that, by the way. And typically we say, I'm sorry, you missed out, and we don't give them the code. Because here's the deal. If you do that, then people know that you do that. And then it's like, it doesn't really mean that there's really a deadline. There's really not a deadline. It's like a fake deadline. No, there's a deadline, and so we will actually turn that sale away and just say sorry, but we may be offering another one here soon in the future if you're not yet on our email list, but they would have, because they would have emailed, like you said. So, but I would say for us, no, we actually have that happen quite a bit on Brand Creators. That's why we send so many emails when we're doing whether it's our SEO workshop that we just did. You'll have people after the fact say, oh, I was on vacation, I didn't check my email for a week. Is there any way I can still get in? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad, but I'm sorry, but we're already started the class. We said that we weren't going to do it because we were going to start the class. So I'm going to have to say no, but when it's available again, I'll let you know. Like, that's it. And I think that goes a long way for letting people know that what you say is real and it's true. So yeah, I would say no. As tempting as it might be, I would say no, just so that way there you can kind of, make sure that you follow through on what you said you were going to do. All right. So guys, that is it. That is going to wrap it up. Like I said, we talked a lot about email today, and let us know in the comments. Do you want to hear more on email? Do you want us to go deeper? Do you want me to share more ideas as far as titles that we've used, or emails that have worked really well, promotions that we've run? We're thinking possibly of putting together a small little, whether it's a training, whether it's templates. We're thinking about doing something more to help out coming up with the Q4 as far as promotions, maybe even having like a small mini workshop that we would actually walk people through these promotions, help them with their promotions, maybe some email templates. Let us know in the comments. Is that something that you would be interested in if we were to put something together for email as far as helping you with promotions and really taking your sales to the next level using email? Let us know that in the comments. And in the meantime, if you want that email playbook of ours, in the comments, just put email and we'll make sure that we get you a copy of that. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up for these advanced strategies to increase your Etsy sales in Q4 and in 2025. Hopefully you got a ton of value. If you did, smash the like button. If you want more content like this from us on a weekly basis, hit that subscribe button somewhere. I pointed up like I know where it is. Anywhere on this page, wherever it is, smash the like button and subscribe, and that would be awesome. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. We'll see you right back here on the next episode.